Tropical Weather Forecast News, September 12, 2025. Good day to all our viewers tuning in to the Tropical Weather News. Today is September 12, 2025, and we are delighted to be with you again at this familiar time. After a rather quiet start to September, the meteorological picture across the Atlantic Basin and the Caribbean is beginning to show noticeable changes. Early signals indicate that tropical cyclone activity is on the rise, and from now until the latter half of the month, several key ocean areas will require close monitoring. In today's bulletin, we will provide you with an overview of regions at risk for tropical depression or storm formation, analyze the reasons behind this uptick in activity, and give detailed forecasts on rainfall and potential impacts across countries in the region. First, let's take a look at the Caribbean. At present, a tropical wave is moving in and attracting attention. However, satellite imagery and meteorological data show that the system has yet to show signs of intensifying into a storm. The main reason is the lingering influence of dry air, often depicted on weather maps as orange bands. Dry air suppresses convection, preventing thunderstorm clouds from developing tall enough to form strong storm systems. Because of this factor, this tropical wave, though bringing showers and thunderstorms, still has a low probability of strengthening into a storm. Still, residents in the area should not be complacent, as heavy showers alone can trigger localized flooding, disrupting transportation and daily life, particularly in Jamaica, Cuba, and Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Meanwhile, conditions in the Western Caribbean are of greater concern. Moisture is surging in from the south, setting up Central American countries like Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, and Costa Rica for an extended spell of heavy rainfall. The consequences could be flash flooding in mountain valleys and landslides in steep terrain. These are hazards residents must take seriously in the coming days. Along the southeastern United States, offshore from Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas, a band of moisture also persists. Unlike the Caribbean system, this offshore feature is not expected to develop into a storm, but it will still bring widespread scattered showers. This is essentially the remnant of an old trough still lingering along the east coast. The next hotspot, and one attracting much attention from meteorologists, is a tropical wave that has just moved off the coast of Africa. This time, environmental conditions are markedly different from earlier this month. Whereas previous waves were repeatedly suppressed by dry and stable air, the situation has now shifted. The dry layer has weakened considerably. Atmospheric moisture is more abundant. And crucially, the tropical Atlantic sea surface has had time to store up significant heat after several weeks without major storms. For this reason, this tropical wave has a high likelihood of developing into a tropical depression, and possibly a storm, within the next 7 to 10 days. According to forecast tracks, the Windward Islands, including Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, and Guadeloupe, will be the first to feel its impact. Residents here are being warned of heavy rainfall, with totals potentially exceeding 100 millimeters in a short period, raising risks of flooding and dangerous travel conditions. This could mark the first real test for the Caribbean during the peak of hurricane season. The primary driver of this increase in tropical cyclone activity is sea surface temperature. During the quiet spell of early September, with no major storms crossing the region, waters across the Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, and the Western Caribbean have heated up substantially, reaching 29 to 30 degrees Celsius in many areas, above the long-term average. For tropical cyclones, this is a critical source of energy, essentially the fuel for their engines. With such conditions, any system entering the region can strengthen rapidly. In addition, the weakening of dry air bands has created more favorable conditions for convection to thrive. Together, these two factors have led experts to conclude that from mid to late September, multiple storms may form, even appearing simultaneously on the map. Leading weather models, including the European ECMWF and the American GFS, are showing consistent signals. Data suggests that by late September, 2 to 3 tropical systems are likely to be active at the same time. Some may remain far out at sea, but others could track closer toward the Caribbean, Central America, or the Bahamas. This means the risk to land areas cannot yet be ruled out. As for rainfall distribution, different areas will see distinct impacts. In Florida and the Bahamas, rainfall could reach 50 to 75 millimeters, with higher local amounts near Freeport. Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, and Puerto Rico are forecast to receive 75 to 100 millimeters. At these levels, flash floods and urban flooding become possible. Smaller islands such as Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, and St. Vincent may see totals exceeding 100 millimeters. Raising the threat of disasters further, Central American nations including Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, and Panama are also expected to experience widespread heavy rainfall, with some locations surpassing 100 millimeters over just a few days, bringing a heightened risk of landslides in mountain regions. In Venezuela and Colombia, thunderstorms are expected with a 40 to 60% chance, less extreme but still requiring caution. Beyond the Atlantic, the Eastern Pacific is also active. A tropical depression, designated 13E, is currently off the coast of Mexico. Experts project that within the next 24 to 48 hours, this system could strengthen into a tropical storm. While not forecast to become very strong, it will still bring heavy rainfall with potential negative impacts to Mexico's coastal areas and the Baja California Peninsula. Taken together, the meteorological picture across both the Atlantic and Pacific basins is becoming more dynamic, signaling a surge in activity right at the height of hurricane season. Residents in the Caribbean, Central America, and along the Atlantic seaboard of the United States should pay special attention to upcoming forecasts. With sea surface temperatures running unusually high, any storm passing over these waters could intensify rapidly and pose dangers if it approaches land. We strongly advise the public to stay updated with the latest alerts from local meteorological agencies and to prepare basic safety measures in advance, from stocking essential supplies, checking drainage systems, to having evacuation plans ready if needed. Being prepared always helps reduce damage when disasters strike. From now through the end of September, we may witness multiple systems forming and active simultaneously. Some may remain offshore, but we cannot rule out scenarios where storms track closer to land. Whatever unfolds, the Tropical Weather News will remain by your side, providing accurate, timely, and up-to-date information. Thank you for watching today's bulletin. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss any important updates in the days ahead. We wish you safety and peace as we navigate the changes in weather together.